Hello there and welcome back to the Academy of Historical Fencing. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a custom sword that I had made some time ago by Marco Danelli, and it's something a little unusual. It's a schiavona rapier. Now, before you all start jumping around and saying that it's some weird, monstrous thing that never existed, it's actually heavily based on an actual original. I contacted the museum, and I'll post these details in the description as well, but I contacted the museum and asked for as much historical information as I could get from them. So they sent me photos, sketches, and even several accounts in literature from sort of even the 70s and 80s of where this particular weapon had been catalogued. So it's an actual historical weapon. So not some kind of fake piece, and it's also not something that's been put together with various different parts, which a lot of people might think it's just it's a rapier blade fitted to something else. It's not. So the original weapon, if you look at it, it's essentially a 17th century rapier that takes elements from a schiavona in the design of its hilt. So it's not sort of strictly a schiavona and then it's got sort of a longer blade. It's effectively a heavily schiavona inspired rapier is in reality what it actually is. And if you look at it, you can see it does look, it looks like sort of 90% schiavona with a few slight changes, such as you can see the extra shell pieces on the front, which of course, if anybody that's used a schiavona knows, those are weak points that blades can get through, and these have been covered with these sections. And you can see that they've got little holes there as well. So the pierce sections are really nice. But anyway, so details will be in the description, as I said, for the historical original that it's based on. I contacted Marco, and this was quite a long time ago. It might even be 10 years ago. I honestly can't remember. It's back when Marco Danelli was making lots of custom swords, which of course he makes far fewer now. So good for me, not so good if you want to get one of these now. And I told him I'd found this particular example in a museum. I'd really like you to make a schiavona because he makes really nice swords. And at the time he's making a lot of rapiers as well. So join them together and give me this particular weapon. So he went away with all the kind of specifications and the photos and the sketches, and he put this chap together. And I asked him at the same time, I wanted a dagger, so I asked him to make me a dagger, not worthy of Mordor, but a dagger that would match the schiavona rapier as well. So Nick, my brother, sketched up a rough design that took the elements from this weapon. So you can see it's got the same pommel and the hilt, not hilt, the kind of the cage and the shell is all very much based on the original. So this is not a historical example, but I wanted a rapier dagger to go with the rapier. So he made both of them together, and I think at the time it was about £750 or so. I do know that he said when he finished it that if he made another one it would be probably sort of double that, and now in 2022 it would be even more, I would think. So I'm sure he would like to make another one, so if you want one, you're welcome to contact me for specs. But anyway, so he made this weapon. I had it years and years ago. I've used it a lot. Rapier's not my thing, well, certainly not this kind of rapier. My rapier is more Maya, side sword rapier. But saying that, rapier is still a lot of fun, and rapier and dagger even better as far as I'm concerned. So I've had this for quite a long time. I've used it for a lot of sparring. So you can see it's got lots of, well, I don't know whether you can see, but it's covered in scratches and dings. But you can just about see the Danelli mark, I think, there as well, maybe. So we'll look. It's right here. Oh, I don't know. The light is being a pain in the backside. Anyway. So what did I have changed or not changed, compared to the original? Well, the requirements for Marco were to make something as close to the historical example as possible, but with changes made so that it could be suitable for sparring as opposed to the actual original sharp. So the cage is a little bigger. It's still bigger than I would like. If I could have basically got it made exactly the way I wanted, I would have had the cage made smaller, so it would just envelop a leather gauntlet So you can see with my hand in there, there's still quite a bit of space around it. You don't need that much space if you're just wearing a leather glove. So I'd make that a little smaller, but it doesn't matter, that's the way it is now. And the blade, the original blade, had quite a few embellishments. The detail on it was much more pronounced, and I believe it curved in slightly, so you had like a slight inset on the blade as well. It was quite a sexy looking blade, but 700 and something pounds for the rapier and dagger when I first ordered it. If I'd gone for a completely custom blade, it may have doubled the price, who knows. And of course the blade is expendable. It could snap, probably will snap one day, and then you'll need to replace it with something else. So the one thing I did change was make it a little longer. So I had it made out to, I can't remember if it's 42, I think it's 45 inches I had it extended out to. Primarily because the rapier that we do in the AHF is taught by Nick, my brother, and his interest is Capoferro, so those kind of long Italian weapons, and I needed something that would be able to match those swords, so I just had the blade lengthened slightly so it'd be more suitable for that. But other than that, if you have a look at the details, you've got the really nice cat's head pommel. The cage is attached directly to the pommel, which is great. Either have it attached or have a gap. Don't have it sort of nearby so it bends and then gets caught up in it and twists and does all kinds of weird stuff. But by having it attached with a bolt, just gives the entire cage strength and rigidity, which you really need. It also stops those kind of weird twists that you get on hilts sometimes. The wire wrap is, as with all Danelli sort of swords, is really nicely done. Really good quality. Nice and comfortable to grip. So yeah, I like that. For fingering the blade, he's properly rubbed down the edges, so no hard corners. So nice and comfortable on the fingers and thumb. So really comfortable to hold. Overall, it's an agile weapon. It looks really pretty, and it's obviously in need of a clean by the looks of it. And just a really nice piece by Danelli. And I suppose the only real tragedy is that they're not in sort of mass production, so you can easily get one yourself. Although I'm sure if you asked really nicely, he'd make you one. So that's the rapier. Let's have another look at the dagger. Just vanish and pop back up again. So yeah, so the dagger definitely you could do with a clean. There you go. So classic dagger with a nice fat spatulated tip and a bit of flex, but not like those awful daggers that just snap when you thrust. So nice and solid. It's got a few dents and things that are a little bent, but overall it's pretty solid. This main cage is never bent, which is a testament to the quality of the work. It's all really tight. It's held up really well. I've used this dagger a lot, both with and without the schiavona rapier. Stood the test of time. So, just pop him back. You get another view of the top of my head. So that's the Marco Danelli sort of schiavona-inspired rapier. Now, remember, check the description. I'll pop in all the details and stats that I can find, along with any mentions of it in historical texts as well, because it has been documented. I think Oakeshott, I'm thinking about it now, I think he's in one of his books, I'm pretty sure there's a hand-drawn sketch. Well, like any other, it's not like a computer-drawn sketch, but there's a sketch in there of this particular hilt, along with the details from when it was originally in the museum. Now, the only unfortunate thing is, since I had mine made, the historical example, the original, was sold by the museum, and they don't know where it is anymore. Or they wouldn't tell me anyway. So somebody somewhere has this schiavona rapier original stashed away. So we can only hope that some budding HEMA person has it in their collection and will document it better for us. Anyway, any questions about this particular sword or anything else you've seen, please pop a comment in the comment section. Do my best as usual to answer it, or Nick will try and answer it. And do subscribe, it really does help the channel. Thank you.